Commander William Carter stood on the bridge of Earth's main defense station. The large window showed the blue and green planet below. Small lights from the orbital cities glowed like stars around Earth. These cities were humanity's pride, built over 50 years of space exploration. "Commander, we have unknown objects approaching from beyond Mars," said Officer Jane Miller. Her voice was steady, but her eyes showed fear. William moved to her screen. "How many?" "Hundreds, sir." "They're moving fast." William picked up the communication device. "This is Commander Carter. All stations on high alert. Unknown vessels approaching." He tried to stay calm. Earth had met 5 alien species in the last 30 years. All meetings had been peaceful. There was no reason to think this would be different. Then the first blast hit. The station shook. Alarms screamed. Red lights flashed everywhere. "We've lost contact with Orbital City 3, shouted Officer Paul Green. It's gone, sir." William couldn't believe what he was seeing. The orbital city that was home to 50,000 people had turned into a cloud of debris. Before he could react, another flash of light hit Orbital City 7. "Get me Earth Command," William ordered. The main screen showed General Samantha Lewis. Her office was shaking too. "Carter, what's happening up there?" "We're under attack. Unknown alien fleet. They're destroying the orbital cities without warning. We're launching all defense ships. Try to contact them." Officer Miller was already working on it. "Sending messages on all frequencies, sir." The screen flickered. A face appeared. It wasn't human. It had gray skin and 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. Its mouth was small, almost hidden. "Primitive species must be contained," it said in perfect English. "Your development threatens galactic stability. The Arctarian Dominion has judged your kind unworthy of space travel." The screen went black. "They're jamming all communications," said Miller. William slammed his fist on the console. "Launch all fighters. Contact every Earth nation. We need everything we have." Earth's defense fleet was the planet's pride. 200 ships launched from hidden bases. They were the best human technology could build after 3 decades of studying alien science. They didn't stand a chance. The alien ships moved too fast. Their weapons cut through Earth's best shields like they weren't there. Human weapons barely scratched their hulls. From his command station, William watched as Earth's fleet was destroyed in less than 20 minutes. "Sir, they're entering Earth's atmosphere," said Green, his voice breaking. "Multiple ships over every major city." The next hours were the worst in human history. The aliens didn't just attack military targets. They destroyed everything. Cities that had stood for thousands of years turned to dust. Billions died in the first wave. William's station shook again. A direct hit. "Abandon station," he ordered. "Everyone to escape pods." As his pod launched, William watched the station break apart. Below, Earth burned. Smoke covered entire continents. The blue planet was turning gray. 6 hours after the first attack, it was over. The alien fleet pulled back to Mars orbit. They left behind hundreds of small satellites that surrounded Earth like a cage. William's pod, along with 30 others, from his station, crashed in what was once northern Canada. For 2 days, the survivors walked south looking for other humans. They found ruins. Small towns were gone. Cities were smoking craters. The few survivors they met told the same story. The aliens had attacked without mercy, without reason. On the 3rd day, they picked up a radio signal. Some military bunkers had survived. William's group followed the signal to an underground base in the Rocky Mountains. General Lewis had survived. Her face was burned, and her arm was in a sling. But her eyes still showed the same strength William remembered. "Carter," she said when she saw him. "Good to see any friendly face." The bunker had collected information from around the world. The news wasn't good. Every major city on Earth was destroyed. Government leaders were dead. About 1 billion people had survived, mostly in rural areas or underground facilities. "The aliens left these," said Lewis, showing William a screen, with images of the satellites now orbiting Earth. "They shoot down anything that tries to leave the atmosphere. They're keeping us trapped here." A scientist named Dr. Eleanor Hayes approached them. We've translated more of their message, she said. They call themselves the Arcturian Dominion. They say they're part of something called the Galactic Council. 17 advanced species that control this part of the galaxy. And they decided? We needed to be wiped out? William asked. Not wiped out. Contained, said Eleanor. They believe younger species like us are dangerous if we spread to other planets. So they attack worlds that reach a certain level of development. They destroy our technology and leave these satellites to keep us from rebuilding. William looked at the destruction reports coming in from around the world. So they just leave us to die slowly? No, said General Lewis. They expect us to survive, but as a primitive planet. They'll probably check on us in a few hundred years to make sure we're not advancing too quickly. William walked to the window that showed the night sky. The alien satellites were visible as small moving lights among the stars. They think they've won, he said quietly. They think they've beaten us. General Lewis stood beside him. What they don't understand is that humans don't give up. We've fought each other for thousands of years. We've survived ice ages, plagues, and our own mistakes. We know how to fight against impossible odds. What can we do against technology like that? Asked William. Lewis's face hardened. We learn, we adapt, we plan, and then, when they least expect it, we show them why it was a mistake to attack Earth but leave any of us alive. In the following weeks, survivors around the world began to organize. They salvaged what they could from the ruins. They studied the alien technology from crashed ships and debris. They built hidden bases deep underground where the satellites couldn't detect them. The aliens had meant to contain humanity. Instead, they had created a planet full of people with nothing left to lose and a burning desire for revenge. The Arcturian Dominion and their Galactic Council had made a terrible mistake. They thought they understood humans. They thought the attack would break humanity's spirit. They were wrong. The road to revenge would be long. It would take years, maybe decades. But William Carter, as he looked at the determined faces around him, knew one thing for certain. Earth would have its revenge. And when it came, the Galactic Council would be left speechless. 5 years passed since the day Earth burned. The planet was not what it once was. Cities lay in ruins. Most technology from before the attack no longer worked. The few billion survivors lived in small communities, trying to rebuild some kind of life among the ashes. But beneath the surface, something else was happening. Dr. Eleanor Hayes wiped sweat from her forehead. The underground lab beneath what was once Seattle was hot and cramped. 20 people worked in a space meant for 5, but it was safe from the alien satellites that watched Earth from above. Try it again, she said to her assistant, Sam Porter. Adjust the frequency by 0.3. Sam turned a dial on the device they had built. It looked like a mess of wires and salvaged parts. 5 years ago, Eleanor had been a respected astrophysicist. Now she was a scavenger, building tools from alien trash. The device hummed. A small light blinked green. We've got a signal, Sam shouted. Everyone stopped working and turned to look. For 2 years, they had been trying to intercept the communications between the alien satellites. Eleanor checked the readings. It's working. We're receiving their data stream. She couldn't help but smile. This was their first real breakthrough. The alien satellites communicated with each other constantly, sharing information about what they saw on Earth. If humans could listen to these communications, they could learn to avoid being seen. Can we decode it? Asked Sam. Not yet, but now that we can hear it, we can learn their language. Across the ocean, in what was once Eastern Europe, Alan Foster led a group of 50 men and women through a dense forest. They all wore clothes made of special fabric that blocked body heat. It didn't make them invisible to the alien satellites, but it made them harder to track. Alan had been special forces before the attack. Now he led the best scout group on the continent. Their mission, find and capture alien scouts. The Arcturians didn't just leave satellites. Every few months they sent small ships to check on Earth, to make sure humans weren't advancing too quickly, to make sure they stayed contained. Movement ahead, whispered Linda Clark, Alan's second-in-command. She pointed to a clearing in the forest. Alan used his binoculars. There it was. An alien scout ship. Small, designed for speed rather than combat. It had landed to take soil and water samples. He signaled to his team. They moved silently, surrounding the clearing. The alien stepped out of its ship. It was tall and thin, with gray skin and 4 eyes. It wore no protective gear. Earth's air was safe for its kind. Linda raised her rifle. It wasn't a normal gun. It fired darts filled with a special drug. The team had learned through trial and error what could make an Arcturian unconscious without killing it. She fired. The dart hit the alien in the neck. It reached up in surprise, then collapsed. "Move in," ordered Alan. The team rushed forward. 4 people grabbed the alien. Others entered the scout ship, looking for technology they could steal or information they could download. 20 minutes later, they vanished back into the forest, taking the alien and everything useful from its ship. They left behind an explosive device that would destroy the empty vessel. The satellites would see the explosion and report that the scout had an accident. No rescue would come. In a hidden base in the mountains, 12-year-old Lisa Martinez sat cross-legged on the floor. In front of her was a piece of alien technology, part of a navigation system from a crashed ship. Lisa had been 7 when the attack happened. She barely remembered the world before. What she did remember was the day she first touched a piece of alien tech, 2 years ago. Something had happened in her mind. Numbers and symbols she had never seen before suddenly made sense. She wasn't the only one. Many children born just before the attack or in the years after showed strange abilities when exposed to alien technology. Scientists like Dr. Hayes had theories. Perhaps the radiation from alien weapons had changed something in human genetics. Perhaps it was the body's way of adapting to a new threat. Whatever the reason, Lisa could understand alien mathematics. When she touched their technology, she could feel how it worked. "What do you see, Lisa?" asked her teacher, Joe Williams. "It's a star map," said Lisa. Her small fingers traced patterns on the device. "But it's not just showing where stars are, it's showing how they connect, like paths between them." "Jump points," said Joe. "They use some kind of technology to travel faster than light between specific points." Lisa nodded. "There are hundreds of them. And look, Earth is marked with a red symbol. But there are other planets with the same mark." Joe looked closer. "Other contained worlds. Planets they've attacked like they attacked us. We're not alone," whispered Lisa. In Washington, D.C., or what remained of it, General Samantha Lewis met with the leaders of the world's largest survivor communities. The meeting took place in an underground bunker, one of the few government structures that had survived the attack. Dr. Hayes reports success in intercepting satellite communications, she told the group. Alan Foster's team has captured another scout, and the children continue to show remarkable abilities with alien technology. William Carter sat among the leaders. After the attack, he had helped form one of the largest communities in what was once Canada. "What does this mean for the resistance?" he asked. "It means we're making progress," said Lewis. 5 years ago, we knew nothing about our enemy. Now we understand their language, their biology, and parts of their technology. "But we're still trapped on Earth," said Maria Rodriguez, who led a community in South America. "The satellites destroy anything that tries to leave the atmosphere. That's why Hayes's breakthrough is so important," explained Lewis. "If we can listen to the satellites, we might find a way to blind them, even for a short time." William understood what she wasn't saying. "You want to build ships? You want to take the fight to them?" Lewis nodded. "Not yet, but soon. We estimate it will take another 5 years before we're ready." The meeting continued late into the night. Plans were made. Resources were allocated. The hidden factories that had been built in abandoned mines would increase production. The alien prisoners would be questioned more thoroughly. The children with special abilities would receive more focused training. In her lab in Seattle, Eleanor Hayes couldn't sleep. The satellite signal they had intercepted contained more than just status reports. It contained information about the Arcturian homeworld. about the Galactic Council, about how they saw the universe. They think they're protecting the galaxy from us, she told Sam as they reviewed the data. They see younger species as dangerous, unpredictable. They're afraid of us? Sam asked in disbelief. Not afraid, cautious. They've existed for thousands of years. They see themselves as caretakers, making sure no species expands too quickly or disrupts their idea of balance. Eleanor looked at the star maps they had decoded. They've done this before, many times, and they'll do it again if other species reach our level of development. So this is normal for them, said Sam bitterly. Just another primitive species contained. Yes, said Eleanor. And that's their mistake. Because they don't understand what they've created. They don't understand that every human left alive is now dedicated to one thing. Sam nodded grimly, making them pay. Outside, the night sky was clear. The alien satellites moved among the stars, watching, reporting back that the primitive humans were struggling to survive in their ruins, that the containment was working as planned. They didn't see the factories hidden deep underground. They didn't detect the intercepted communications. They had no way of knowing about the children who could read their technology like a book. They thought they had won. They thought Earth was contained. They were wrong. 10 years after the devastating attack on Earth, the human resistance had grown stronger than anyone could have imagined. Deep beneath the ruins of major cities, in abandoned mines and under the oceans, the survivors had built something the alien invaders never expected: hope. General Catherine Wilson stood in the massive underwater facility built in what was once the Caribbean Sea. The hangar held 3 ships unlike anything humans had built before. They were sleek, dark, and deadly, a mix of Earth's best engineering and reverse-engineered alien technology. Are they ready? Catherine asked the chief engineer, Frank Morris. As ready as they'll ever be, Frank answered. His hands were stained with grease and his eyes showed the exhaustion of someone who had worked without proper rest for months. The stealth systems are better than we hoped. They should be invisible to Arctarian sensors. Catherine nodded. This was the culmination of 10 years of sacrifice, planning, and hidden work. 10 years of studying the enemy, learning their weaknesses, and preparing for this moment. And the crews? She asked. Trained and ready. They've been in the simulators for thousands of hours. They know these ships better than they know themselves. Catherine walked along the catwalk that circled the first ship. Its hull was painted black with no markings. Its name was Vengeance. Captain Peter Johnson met her at the ship's entrance. He saluted sharply. General Wilson, we're ready for mission briefing. Inside the ship, 20 crew members sat in the meeting room. They were Earth's best. Pilots, engineers, scientists, and soldiers, all chosen for their skills and their determination. Ladies and gentlemen, Catherine began, in 48 hours, you will embark on the most important mission in human history. She activated the holographic display in the center of the room. It showed their solar system, then zoomed out to show nearby stars. 10 years ago, the Arctarian Dominion attacked our world and left us for dead. They thought we would stay on our knees, struggling to survive in the ruins they left behind. The display changed to show the 3 ships. Instead, we built these: the Vengeance, the Shadow, and the Retribution. Ships designed to do what the Arctarians thought impossible: leave Earth undetected and take the fight to them. Captain Johnson stood. My team on the Vengeance will head to the nearest Arctarian outpost here. He pointed to a star system, about 12 light-years from Earth. Our mission is to steal their jump drive technology. Without it, we can't travel fast enough to reach the Galactic Council's worlds. Commander Olivia Barnes, leader of the Shadow Team, spoke next. Once Captain Johnson's team secures the jump drive, my crew will use it to infiltrate deeper into Arctarian space. Our goal is intelligence gathering. We need to learn everything we can about the Galactic Council, their worlds, their defenses, their politics. Admiral Daniel Wright, the oldest of the 3 commanders, explained the final phase. My ship, the Retribution, will remain in the solar system. Once the other teams return with the jump drive and the intelligence, we will implement the final phase of our plan. Catherine brought up images of the alien satellites that still surrounded Earth. For 10 years, these have kept us prisoner on our own planet. They shoot down anything that tries to leave the atmosphere. But thanks to Dr. Hayes and her team, we've found their weakness. Eleanor Hayes stepped forward. Her hair had more gray in it now, but her eyes still showed the same determination they had the day after the attack. The satellites use quantum communication to coordinate their coverage, she explained. They create a perfect net around the planet, but we've learned to create a temporary blind spot, a hole in the net that will last just long enough for our ships to escape. Catherine continued, "This isn't just about revenge. This is about the survival of our species. The Arctarians and their Galactic Council have done this to other worlds. If we succeed, we won't just free Earth. We could free countless other contained species." After the briefing, Peter walked through his ship, checking each station, speaking with each crew member. The Vengeance was a marvel of human ingenuity. From the outside, it looked alien, because it was designed to blend in with Arctarian ships. Inside, it was pure human efficiency. The engine room was his favorite place. The power core used principles discovered by studying alien technology, but improved upon by human engineers. It was quieter, more efficient, and more powerful than anything the Arctarians had. "How's she running, Greg?" Peter asked the chief engineer. Greg Brown looked up from his console. "Like a dream, Captain. She'll get us there and back." "And the weapons?" "The pulse cannons are charged and ready. The stealth missiles are loaded. But remember, this isn't a warship. We're built for speed and stealth, not prolonged combat." Peter nodded. "If all goes well, we won't need to fight at all." But both men knew that nothing ever went exactly as planned. On the Shadow, Commander Olivia Barnes was running final simulations with her crew. Her ship was the smallest of the three, built almost entirely for stealth. It had minimal weapons, and focused instead on advanced sensors and communication systems. Her mission was perhaps the most dangerous, to infiltrate the heart of Arctarian space and gather intelligence on the Galactic Council. The Council consisted of 17 advanced species, and humans knew almost nothing about 16 of them. "Run the simulation again," she told her tactical officer, Susan White. "This time, assume we're detected entering the system." The crew ran through their emergency protocols for the 20th time that day. If discovered, they would have only seconds to react. Meanwhile, Admiral Wright was reviewing the final phase of the plan with Dr. Hayes and young Lisa Martinez, now 22 years old. Lisa had grown into her abilities and was now perhaps the most valuable asset in humanity's fight for survival. "Show me again," said Wright. Lisa placed her hands on the alien device they had modified. It was a quantum communicator, similar to what the satellites used. "I can see the patterns," she explained. "The quantum paths they use to communicate. To them, it's just mathematics and physics, but to me, it's like music. I can hear the notes and I can change them. And that's what will allow us to send the whisper?" asked Wright. Dr. Hayes nodded. "The whisper is what we're calling our countersignal. When Lisa sends it through their quantum network, it will create a cascading effect. Their entire communication system will be compromised." "Not just communications," added Lisa. "Their defense, systems, life support, everything is connected to the same quantum network. They think it's unhackable because no Arctarian or Council species can perceive quantum states the way I can, the way many human children born after the attack can." Wright looked troubled. "You're talking about disabling their life support systems. That would kill millions." "No," said Lisa firmly. "I can be precise. I can target their military systems while leaving civilian infrastructure intact. This isn't about genocide, Admiral. We're not like them." The next day, final preparations were made. The three ships were fully supplied and ready. The crew said their goodbyes to friends and family. For many, it would be the last time they saw Earth. Catherine Wilson addressed all three crews one final time. 10 years ago, an alien force thought they had defeated humanity. They thought they had contained us, reduced us to a primitive state. What they didn't understand was that humans don't break under pressure. We transform. She looked at the faces before her, determined, focused, ready. You carry with you the hopes of every human being left on Earth. But remember our mission. We go not just for revenge, but for justice. Not just for freedom, but for a new future. A future where no species can do to others what was done to us. At midnight, the operation began. Dr. Hayes' team activated their quantum interference device. For exactly 7 minutes, a section of the satellite net over the Atlantic Ocean would be blind. The 3 ships rose silently from their underwater hangar. They accelerated upward, faster than any human craft had ever moved before. The Arcturian satellites didn't detect them. The blind spot worked perfectly. Within minutes, the ships were beyond Earth's atmosphere, speeding away from the solar system. For the first time in 10 years, humans were free from their prison. But the journey had just begun. The real test, infiltrating alien space, stealing their technology, and implementing Earth's plan for devastating revenge, still lay ahead. As Earth shrank to a blue dot behind them, Captain Peter Johnson sent one final message back home. Vengeance has left the nest. Freedom begins now. The crews of all 3 ships knew the risks. The mission would take years. Many of them would not return. But they went willingly, proudly, carrying with them the determination of a species that refused to be contained. The Arcturians and their Galactic Council had made a fatal error. They had judged humanity by their own standards. They thought that by destroying Earth's cities and technology, they had ended the threat. They didn't understand that humans had been fighting against impossible odds for their entire history. They didn't understand that humans grew stronger when pushed to the edge of extinction. And soon, very soon, the Galactic Council would learn just how dangerous humans could be. The mission took longer than expected. 3 years passed as Earth's ships traveled through enemy space, gathering what they needed for humanity's revenge. Captain Peter Johnson's ship, the Vengeance, reached the Arcturian outpost first. From a distance, it looked like a small moon orbiting a gas giant, but it was entirely artificial, a forward base for the alien fleet. Maintain stealth approach, Peter ordered. Status of Arcturian patrols? 2 patrol ships on the far side of the outpost, reported Officer Ryan Mitchell. If we time it right, we can slip between their sensor ranges. The Vengeance moved silently toward the outpost. The ship's outer hull absorbed sensor waves rather than reflecting them, making it nearly invisible to Arcturian technology. This was one advantage humans had discovered. The aliens relied too heavily on their advanced technology and had grown complacent. "We're in position," said Ryan after an hour of careful maneuvering. "Docking tube is ready," Peter addressed his boarding team. "Remember the plan. We're here for the jump drive schematics. We avoid contact if possible. No casualties unless absolutely necessary." The team consisted of 6 people, each chosen for specific skills. They wore adaptive suits that mimicked Arcturian technology signatures. As long as no one looked directly at them, the outpost's sensors would register them as maintenance drones. They entered through a rarely used maintenance tunnel. The inside of the outpost was vast, with ceilings 3 times human height to accommodate the tall Arcturians. Everything was built on a larger scale, making the human team feel like children sneaking through an adult world. "This way," whispered Sarah Jones, the team's navigator. She had studied Arcturian architecture for years and could read their building signs. The research section should be 2 levels down. They moved carefully through the station, hiding whenever actual Arcturians passed by. Peter was struck by how few security measures were in place. The aliens truly believed their technology was beyond human comprehension. They had no fear of infiltration. In the research section, they found what they were looking for: a central database containing technical schematics for various Arcturian systems, including the jump drive. "Begin download," Peter ordered. Their specialized devices designed by Dr. Hayes connected to the alien system. As the download progressed, Peter explored the database further. What he found shocked him. Earth wasn't the only world they attacked, he told his team. There are dozens of contained planets in this sector alone. Some were attacked centuries ago. The images showed worlds at various stages of development. Some had been industrial societies like Earth. Others had barely reached steam power before being contained. All shared the same fate: destruction of their advanced infrastructure, orbital satellites to prevent space travel, and regular monitoring to ensure they didn't advance too quickly. "Got everything," said Communications Officer Donna Hall after 20 minutes. "Jump drive schematics, navigational data, and what are these?" She pointed to additional files that had been automatically included in the download. "Personnel records," said Peter, scanning the data. "Locations of other outposts, communication protocols." He smiled grimly. "They've given us the keys to their kingdom." The team returned to the Vengeance without being detected. As they pulled away from the outpost, Peter sent an encrypted signal to the Shadow. "Package secured. Proceed to Phase 2. Commander Olivia Barnes received the signal aboard the Shadow, currently hiding in the debris field of a destroyed moon. Her ship was the smallest of the three, designed for maximum stealth rather than combat capabilities. Signal from the Vengeance," reported her communications officer. "They've secured the jump drive data." "Perfect timing," said Olivia. "Transfer the data to engineering. I want that drive installed and operational within 48 hours. The Shadow's mission was the most dangerous: infiltrate deep into Arctarian space, locate the Galactic Council's central hub, and gather critical intelligence. With the jump drive technology, they could cover vast distances in days rather than years. 2 weeks later, the Shadow completed its first jump. The experience was disorienting. The stars shifted position instantly, and the crew felt a moment of extreme pressure before everything normalized. "Jump successful," announced engineer Chris Parker. "We're in the Centauri Alpha system." Olivia checked their position. According to the Arctarian data, this system contains a major communications relay. We can tap into it to locate the Council hub. The Shadow spent 2 days hidden near the relay, passively collecting data transmissions. The information they gathered was revealing. The Galactic Council wasn't just 17 advanced species working together. It was a rigid hierarchy, with the oldest species holding power over the others. "The Arctarians aren't even at the top," Olivia told her crew during a briefing. "They're middle-tier enforcers. The real power lies with 3 ancient species that founded the Council millions of years ago." After 4 more jumps, moving deeper into controlled space, they finally located what they were looking for: Nexus Station, the central hub of the Galactic Council. It orbited a yellow star at the center of a heavily defended system. "Too many patrols for a direct approach," said Tactical Officer Susan White. "But there's heavy traffic in and out. If we disguise ourselves as a supply ship, we might slip through." Using the data from the Arctarian outpost, they created perfect fake identification codes. The Shadow approached Nexus Station as if it belonged there, transmitting Arctarian supply ship signals. "We're being scanned," warned Susan as they neared the massive station. Everyone held their breath. If the disguise failed, they would be destroyed instantly. "Scan complete," Susan reported after a tense moment. "They're sending docking instructions." The Shadow docked at an automated cargo port. From there, a small team led by Olivia entered the station. Unlike the outpost, Nexus Station was teeming with activity. Representatives from all 17 Council species moved through the corridors, along with service robots and security drones. "Stay close and don't make eye contact," Olivia instructed her team. Their disguises were good but wouldn't hold up to direct scrutiny. Their target was the central data hub, a massive computer core that held the Council's records. According to their intelligence, it contained everything from military plans to species assessments. The team moved carefully through the station, using service tunnels when possible. When they reached the outer ring of the data hub, they found it heavily guarded. "We need a distraction," said Olivia. Communications specialist Ben Wright had the solution. Using a device developed by Lisa Martinez back on Earth, he sent a pulse through the station's internal network. Suddenly, alarms blared in a distant section. "Security breach in Sector 7. announced a calm voice over the station's speakers. Most of the guards moved toward the fake emergency, leaving only 2 at the data hub entrance. Olivia's team dealt with them quickly and non-lethally, using advanced stun weapons. Inside the hub, Ben connected their specialized devices to the Council's systems. Beginning download. This will take at least 30 minutes. Keep watch, Olivia ordered the others. The moment anyone approaches, we abort and run. As the download progressed, Olivia reviewed the incoming data. What she saw confirmed their worst fears and revealed unexpected opportunities. The Council has been doing this for thousands of years, she told her team quietly. Hundreds of species contained across the galaxy, all because they might one day challenge the Council's authority. But there was more. Many of the contained species had continued to develop in secret just as humans had. Some had been rebuilding for centuries, waiting for an opportunity to break free. We're not just fighting for Earth, Olivia realized. We could be the spark that ignites a galactic revolution. The most valuable discovery came near the end of the download, the complete specifications of the quantum communication network that connected all Council technology. The very network Lisa Martinez had theorized could be compromised. Download complete, announced Ben after 42 tense minutes. Time to go, said Olivia. Back to the ship, same way we came in. They left the data hub as quietly as they had entered it. The distraction in Sector 7 was still drawing attention, allowing them to reach the shadow without incident. As they undocked from the station, Susan reported, "No pursuit. They don't even know we were there." The shadow made several jumps in quick succession, taking a roundabout path back toward Earth to avoid being tracked. Each jump brought them closer to home and to the final phase of humanity's plan. Meanwhile, Admiral Daniel Wright had not been idle. The Retribution had spent the 3 years building a small but lethal fleet in the outer solar system, hidden from the Arcturian satellites. 10 ships now orbited beyond Pluto, each equipped with the best weapons humans could design. When the Vengeance and the Shadow finally returned to the solar system, a council of war was held aboard the Retribution. "We have what we need," said Peter, presenting the jump drive technology. "With this, we can build ships that can reach any part of controlled space. And we know where to strike," added Olivia, displaying the data from Nexus Station. "The Council's communication network is their backbone. If we can disrupt it, their entire military structure will collapse." The Galactic Council chambers were in chaos. The 17 representatives of the most advanced species in the galaxy argued among themselves as emergency alerts flashed on every screen. Their perfect order had collapsed in minutes. "How is this possible?" demanded the Arcturian representative, his 4 eyes blinking rapidly in distress. "The quantum network is unhackable." "Evidently not," replied the Zoraxian elder, the oldest member of the council. His species had been among the founders millions of years ago. "The contained world, Earth, has done what we thought impossible." On screens throughout the chamber, the evidence of their crimes played on endless loops. Hundreds of worlds attacked, billions of lives disrupted or ended, all in the name of galactic stability. And with each image came a simple message: "We come not as conquerors, but as liberators." The Galactic Security Chief, a tall being with crystalline skin, entered the chamber. "The military networks are completely paralyzed. We cannot raise our fleets. Defense systems on all major worlds are offline." "And the containment satellites?" asked the Arcturian. "Disabled. All of them, across every contained world." This news brought stunned silence. For thousands of years, the Council had contained developing worlds they deemed potentially disruptive. The satellites were their insurance, keeping those worlds from advancing too quickly, from joining the galactic community on their own terms. Now, those satellites were dead metal, orbiting hundreds of planets. "We are receiving transmission requests," said the security chief. "Not just from Earth vessels, but from other contained worlds." "Impossible," said the Arcturian. "They can't have space capabilities. It seems many of them do. Like Earth, they've been rebuilding in secret." The main screen in the council chamber activated. The face that appeared was human, Admiral Daniel Wright of the Earth Ship Retribution. "Representatives of the Galactic Council," he said formally. "Earth requests an immediate audience." After brief, panicked discussion, the council agreed. What choice did they have? Their military was paralyzed, their secrets exposed. 6 hours later, a small Earth ship docked at Nexus Station. From it emerged a delegation of 5 humans: Admiral Wright, Captain Johnson, Commander Barnes, Dr. Hayes, and Lisa Martinez. They were escorted to the council chambers by nervous guards whose weapons had been rendered useless by the Whisper. As they entered the Grand Chamber, Admiral Wright noted the architectural design, meant to intimidate visitors with soaring ceilings and elevated council seats. The message was clear. Those who stood before the council were lesser beings. The humans refused to be intimidated. They stood tall before the 17 representatives of the most advanced species in the galaxy. "You stand accused of crimes against sentient life," began Admiral Wright without preamble. "Hundreds of worlds attacked without provocation, billions dead, countless civilizations stunted or destroyed, all because you feared what they might become." "We maintain galactic stability," replied the Zoraxian elder. "Young species are volatile, unpredictable. Without guidance, they destroy themselves and others." "And who gave you the right to decide which species deserves to advance and which doesn't?" asked Dr. Hayes. "Who made you the judges of all intelligent life?" "We are the oldest," said the Zoraxian. "We have seen civilizations rise and fall for millions of years. We have witnessed the damage unchecked expansion causes." Lisa Martinez stepped forward. All eyes turned to her, the young human who had broken their unhackable network. "I've seen your records," she said calmly. "You don't contain worlds to protect them. You contain them because you're afraid of them. Afraid they might develop in ways you can't predict or control." The council members shifted uncomfortably. The truth was rarely spoken so plainly in these chambers. "Your fear has caused more suffering than any developing world ever could," continued Lisa. "But today that ends." At that moment, a new group entered the chamber. They weren't human. They were representatives from other contained worlds, species the Council had attacked over the centuries, who had rebuilt in secret just as Earth had. There was a tall, 6-limbed being from a world called Naxos, contained 300 years ago. A pair of small, rodent-like creatures from Talax, contained 5 centuries past. A floating, gas-filled entity from Viridian, attacked 1,000 years earlier. In all, representatives from 20 formerly contained worlds joined the Earth delegation. The council members watched in growing horror as more delegations reported they were approaching Nexus Station. "What is the meaning of this?" demanded the Arctarian. "Alliance," said Admiral Wright simply. "While your satellites watched for radio, signals, and rocket launches, we found ways to communicate through means you never considered. Earth didn't just free itself. We helped free everyone." The Zoraxian elder raised a hand for silence. "And now? You've disabled our military, exposed our methods. Have you come to destroy us? To take revenge for what was done to your worlds?" Captain Johnson spoke for the first time. "If we wanted destruction, we wouldn't be here talking. The Whisper could have shut down your life support as easily as your weapons. We've come to offer you a choice," said Commander Barnes. "A new beginning." Dr. Hayes activated a holographic display showing a document, a new galactic constitution, one where all sentient species have equal standing, where no world can be attacked or contained for developing in ways others find threatening, where advancement is supported, not punished. "Impossible," said one council member. "Many of these worlds are centuries behind us technologically. They cannot possibly participate as equals." "They won't be alone," said Admiral Wright. "Earth and the other liberated worlds will help them rebuild. We'll share knowledge, resources, protection. Together, we'll create the diverse, dynamic galaxy you've been preventing for millennia." "And if we refuse?" asked the Arctarian. Lisa Martinez answered, her voice soft but carrying to every corner of the chamber. The whisper remains active. If you choose war, your weapons will remain silent, while ours do not. If you choose oppression, we'll broadcast your crimes to every world in the galaxy. But if you choose cooperation... She walked to the central platform and extended her hand, a human gesture of peace. If you choose cooperation, we can build something better than either of us could alone. The council chambers fell silent. For thousands of years, these 17 species had ruled the galaxy, containing any civilization they deemed a potential threat. Now those threats stood before them, offering not destruction but partnership. The Zoraxian elder moved first. Ancient even by his species' standards, he had seen countless civilizations rise and fall. Perhaps, he thought, it was time for something new. He descended from his elevated seat and approached Lisa. The other council members watched in shock as he extended his own hand, 3 elongated fingers, and clasped hers. Perhaps, he said slowly, it is time for the old to learn from the young. One by one, other council members joined them. Not all, some remained seated clinging to the old order, but enough to begin. In the days that followed, ships arrived from every formerly contained world. The satellites that had kept them prisoner were now drifting debris. For the first time in thousands of years, species that had been judged too dangerous for space travel were taking their place in the galactic community. Earth's fleet, now numbered at over 100 vessels, maintained position around key council worlds, not as conquerors, but as peacekeepers during the transition. 1. Month after the whisper, a formal ceremony was held in the council chambers. The old Galactic Council was dissolved. In its place arose the Galactic Alliance, a new organization where all sentient species, regardless of technological development, had representation. Ambassador Eric Miller, formerly a history teacher from what had once been Boston, signed the new Constitution on behalf of Earth. As he did, he remembered the billions who had died in the attack 13 years earlier. They had not died in vain. Their sacrifice had led not just to Earth's freedom, but to a fundamental transformation of the galaxy. The human spirit cannot be contained, he said in his address to the gathered representatives. Neither can the spirit of any sentient species. We are all driven to explore, to grow, to reach beyond our current limitations. The old council saw this as a threat. We see it as our greatest strength. As delegates from 100 worlds applauded, Lisa Martinez watched from a quiet corner of the chamber. The quantum network that had once been used to oppress now connected worlds in communication and cooperation. The whisper, designed as a weapon, had become the foundation for a new era of understanding. Back on Earth, the rebuilding had begun, in earnest. With access to advanced technology and the help of new allies, cities were rising from the ruins. The skies were clear of oppressive satellites. Children born after the attack were developing abilities no human had possessed before. Evolution accelerated by necessity and alien influence. General Katherine Wilson stood on a hillside overlooking what had once been Washington, D.C. 13 years ago, it had been reduced to ashes. Now, a new city was taking shape. Not just a human city, but one designed for visitors from across the galaxy. A small ship landed nearby. William Carter, now an ambassador to 3 formerly contained worlds, walked up the hill to join her. Beautiful, isn't it? He said, gesturing to the city below.